Hello everyone, happy afternoon, a very good afternoon. I hope and I believe all of you are doing well. A quick note everyone, am I audible and visible everyone? Let me just quickly check the chat, give me a minute. Let me just quickly check the chat, give me a minute. Let me just quickly check the chat, give me a minute. Let me just quickly check. Okay, let's see going here. All right, guys. So I hope all of you can see me and hear me as well, everybody. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So here we are to discuss not just a strategy, but a smart strategy to crack your upcoming INI-CET exam. So we have the INI-CET exam coming up, which is on 16th of May. And I'm pretty sure that all of you are putting in your best efforts. But just to give those efforts a better direction, here we are to discuss the strategy. So if you guys have any queries related to your preparation, please put it in the chat. I shall address it towards the end. So let's start with it. So when I talk about smart strategy, remember that working smart does not mean that you have to work less. You still have to work hard, but it just means that you have to work hard on what truly matters. Trust me, I have seen and I keep seeing so many students, who slog the entire day, who study entire day, but still they're not able to crack the exam because the efforts that they're putting are not in the right direction, right? So you need to understand that, what will give me more returns with less investment, right? So that's what we are going to talk about. So I think this is the best definition that we have for smart strategy: working hard on what truly matters, right? So when you prepare for NEET-PG or you prepare for INI-CET, remember the syllabus, the content is the same. But just that there's a bit different approach that is required to crack your INI-CET exam. So that is what we are going to talk about in this session. So INI-CET versus NEET-PG. What is the difference, the noticeable difference that you have in between the preparation of these two exams? Now, INI-CET, as we all know, it focuses a lot on your pre and paraclinical subjects. That is, the first and second year subjects are asked in more depth. While in NEET-PG, the major focus is on the final year subjects. But for INI-CET, your pre-paraclinical subjects have to be really good. So, for example, like biochemistry, molecular biology is asked in a bit more detail. Pharmacology, new drugs, monoclonal antibodies, these are asked more in INI-CET rather than the NEET-PG exam, right? So even in anatomy, more detailed images, embryology in detail, all this is asked in INI-CET exam. So your first and second year subjects have to be really good for cracking INI-CET. Previous year topics are extremely important because especially in INI-CET, we see that not just the PYTs, but even the PYQs many times are repeated as it is. And PYQs, particularly from the previous years, that means somewhere around 2015, 2016, even they are really important and they are repeated as it is, or even the recent ones are repeated. Okay, as it is. So, for example, in pathology, the recent exam had a repeat from the previous INI-CET exam. Mastering your PYQs is very, very important because the same topic, right, in INI-CET. So you will not see such questions in NEET-PG exam. So for example, in one of the recent INI-CET exam, there was a question on phosphenytoin versus phenytoin, and there are 4 of detail. So the depth of the topics is really, really important. But at the same time, a few questions in INI-CET, you can know about the topic, you don't know about the new drug being asked. But if you are calm in the exam hall, you think very logically, right, you know how to make a logical guess to the answers, right? So there you can basically solve these questions as well. So the learning lesson for INI-CET exam is you will definitely see questions or even topics which are absolutely new. You have not heard about them anywhere, you have not read about them, but you don't have to get panicked there in the exam hall. If you maintain your calm, you think logically, you can still solve those questions. I'll give you a few examples as well. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Like, this is a question, a pharmacology question from the recent INI-CET exam. So guys, tell me what is the answer to this question. So which of the following drugs acts on VEGF? I'm pretty sure that many of us might have not read about this particular drug option given here. Maybe we know about bevacizumab acting on VEGF, but we do not know amongst these options. So how do you crack such questions? Yes. Which of the following drugs acts on VEGF? If you don't know the answer, think logically, and you can still crack this question. Yes. Hmm. So someone is asking, will the war affect the exam? See, you are asking me something which nobody knows about, right? It's only time which will unfold. So please do not let all these thoughts, be an excuse for not giving in your best every single day. You just put in your efforts, right? Considering the exam is on the same day, and go ahead with it. Okay. Okay, guys, tell me, what do you think is the answer to this question? Which of the following drugs acts on VEGF? Is there any? Is the video stuck by any chance? Guys, is the audio video all good? I'm not sure about it. Like, am I audible and visible, everyone? Hi, am I audible and visible now, guys? Sorry for that interruption. Okay, right. So suppose if you did not know answer to this question, how do you crack this question is, which of the following drugs acts on VEGF? So you have the options here. Suppose you do not know the answer. Now, how do you think logically is, VEGF is something which is vascular. Vascular means something related to circulation. Okay. Right. So it is related to circulation, CI. So remember, the drugs acting on circulation, they have CI in their spelling. So the only option which you see here which has CI in its spelling is ramucirumab. right? So the answer here is going to be ramucirumab. So if you know these tricks, right, the names of the monoclonal antibodies, like if it's a neural one, it will have NU in its name, right? The circulation one will have CI, and all of this, it will help you crack this, the questions. Now, for a student who does not know this, right, it's natural to get panicked when you see such questions. But again, I'm telling you time and again, maintain your calm, think logically, and you'll be able to answer such questions as well in the exam. Okay, that is how you crack such questions. Let us have a look at another question here. Okay, this is also one of the recent INI-CET exam PYQ. Tell me, what do you think would be answer to this one? So a patient is diagnosed with pulmonary arterial hypertension. So what drug used in this condition does not act as prostacyclin receptor agonist? What is the answer to this one? Is it selexipag? Mahesh, yes. What do you think is the answer to this one? Right. The correct answer here is C. Very good success, Nippon. Right. Now, again, try to decode the terms. Remember, in INICET in pharmacology, you have to decode the spellings of the drugs which are given. Epoprostenol is something related to prostaglandin. Iloprost is something related to prostaglandin. Selexipag is like prostaglandin agonist jaisa, right? So remember, and this is embrycentan, and entan ending in entan, that is your endothelin antagonist. Okay, that is your endothelin antagonist. So this is going to be answer is embrycentan. So even if you remember the major classification of the drugs used in pulmonary hypertension, like these are the various drugs used. You have calcium channel blockers, endothelin antagonist, prostacyclin analogs, agonist, right? So then you will be able to answer such questions. So these were like few examples. There are many more examples like this. You should know the approach to these questions, and how smart thinking, logical thinking actually helps you crack questions in INI-CET. Okay, so that's a major learning lesson for cracking INI-CET exam. Now there are some INI-CET specific topics, that you should definitely know and master them in depth. Now, how will you get to know that these are the topics which are favorite for INI-CET? The best way for it is by solving the PYQs subject-wise. So when you solve the PYQs, anatomy ke all PYQs together, you will get a very fair idea that this is a topic that I'm seeing getting repeated in the exam time and again. So, for example, in anatomy, embryology is important for INI-CET, right? The cross-section images are important for INI-CET. So, when you will solve the questions, you'll get a very fair idea. Pharmacology, new drugs, PSM updates, biostatistics in PSM, molecular biology in biochemistry, toxicology, to name a few, like these are the INI-CET specific topics which INI-CET absolutely loves. This is not the complete list, of course. Like I said, make your own list by mastering, by solving the PYQs, and you'll get a very fair idea. Okay, and then for those particular topics, you can watch the main videos or you can read the standard textbook as well for that particular topic. Okay. Now, going to how you should approach, how you should plan your days for the upcoming INI-CET May 26 exam is the month of March, right? 4 weeks you can use for completing the syllabus, with absolute perfection, integrating it, the subjects together, the topics together. Then the 25 days of April you can use for revision. And then you can have second revision from 26th April to 15th of May, right? So you can have these 3 cycles in the remaining days for INI-CET May 26. So how do you plan your March ka month, right? The first plan that you have. So in the first week, these are the number of days and the subjects that I've given. Medicine, patho, pharmac, you can read together in the first week, right? Then in the second week, you can have surgery, microbiochemistry. Then you have OBGY, PEDS, PSM. And then you have the short subjects with 1 day each, and you can complete the entire syllabus. So if you don't have a plan made, then you can use this plan basically to complete these subjects in the month of March, right? And how you should approach a subject. When I say that finish off medicine in 3 days, right, pharmacology in 2 days. Now, the approach, the best way to approach the exam preparation when the time is less, the exam is approaching is, you should first solve the PYQs, right? Don't just go in depth, like just have a look at the PYQs. So for example, let's say again, you are starting with anatomy is the subject that you have to complete. And in that, you start topic wise. So first, let's say you are taking up embryology. Now, what you do is go to the Q bank, right? So you have Q bank and PrepLadder app or any other resource that you are using for that matter. And then what do you do is you make a custom module with embryology being selected in anatomy with the PYQ tag, the NEET-PG, or specifically first finish INI-CET PYQs if you have not done yet for INI-CET exam, and then solve the PYQs of embryology of INI-CET. Okay, make a custom module and solve it. Okay, then you watch the rapid revision video of embryology from the app. Now again you resolve that custom module of PYQs. Now see how much you are able to answer and with how much confidence you are able to answer. And then in that custom module of PYQ, make the notes of the mistakes that you made while solving those questions. Bookmark the questions where you made a mistake so that you can solve them again. So likewise, do this for all the topics in the subject. So like you have upper limb, lower limb, right? You will do this for all the subjects. And then finally, when you complete all the topics of anatomy, now you solve the PYQs year-wise that you have in the app. Okay? Anatomy 2018, 2019, 2020, like that. Because then in that case, you will have the mixed bag topics of that subject coming up together, right? So first you master topic-wise, and then you do mixed bag. Apart from this, every day you do custom module practice of the subject which is ongoing with the tags like clinical, because that is what is the questions that you are seeing in the exam, right? So at least 50 questions is what you have to do. Complete हो पाएगा? Absolutely हो पाएगा. अभी तो मैं सिर्फ PYQs करने के लिए बोल रही हूँ. Trust me, everything seems difficult until it is done, but it is not as difficult जितना वो mind हमको difficult करके बताता है, right? It's not that difficult. Just make sure you are being very productive, giving in your 100%, you'll be able to do it. Okay, and the daily non-negotiables that you have कि ये तो करना ही करना है. At least 100 MCQs per day. I'm saying at least 100 MCQs, which will have PYQs and custom modules, like I said, with the tag of at least clinical wale questions is what you should be doing. And every day there has to be a block for revision, right? Like when you are reading anatomy, suppose today you did embryology, tomorrow itself revise embryology notes, errors wala book that you are making, so that you keep revising it again and again. So every day there has to be a revision block. There has to be at least 100 MCQs practice per day. Okay, right? And remember that everything seems impossible until it is done. Now for today you are on this side, but once you crack the exam you'll be on the other side, and when you look back you'll be like, faltu mein we were taking so much tension, we were getting so much scared. It was not as difficult as it seemed. That is what I want all of you to say that post exam. So follow the strategy that I've told you. Mastering the PYQs and the PYTs for INI-CET is a must, because if you make a mistake in that, right, it's an absolute blunder. It affects your scores significantly. And when you are doing all of this, of course, giving the GTs, giving the mock test, the PrepLadder Champions exam will be coming up. All of that is an absolute must. Your MCQ practice, your GTs are your assessment tools, right? Do not get disheartened that even if you get low scores, just use them as assessment tools, learning tools, improvement tools, right? And keep improving day on day. Remember, you are not battling with any exam. You are battling with your yesterday's own self. Your only target is being better than the yesterday, right? Doing better than what you did yesterday. That's it. That is what has to be your target. Okay. P. Sony, not really sure, but as much as I remember, for a FMG student to appear for INI-CET, it is 65% cutoff. That is there. Right, so it is not just 300 may say 150, 50% nahi, but 65% ka hai. You can check it. Okay, not 65%, above 165, correct. You can check the prospectus, right? It's not that difficult. Just open up the prospectus and the eligibility criteria. It specifically mentions for FMG students as well. It is 165. Yeah. Right. Any other queries? LRR, we shall be able to give you update in some time whether we have LRR or no LRR, right? Once we get an update, you shall get an update from the team. Okay. Yes. So what you have to do for INI-CET? Master the PYQs and PYTs in depth, right? No mistakes there at all. And learning the MCQ skills. How do you logically guess the answer? Because that really, really helps in the exam. Okay. Any other queries, guys, before we wind up the session? And I'm sure that all of you know about the, PrepLadder's version 11 also coming up. The early bird offer was there till yesterday, right? So there's a lot of new stuff coming up with the version 11 with revamped rapid revision videos, revamped Q bank, flashcards, right? Everything to help you retain and recall in the exam hall. Yes. How to revise pharma and anatomy. See, for that matter, any subject that you find difficult or is volatile for you, the only thing that you have to do is daily take out at least half an hour, for that subject. Because when you do keep doing it on a daily basis, right, you'll of course remember it better and your confidence will also improve. For anatomy, first of all, learn with images. Visual memory is what helps the best in anatomy. And that's why in the PrepLadder version 11 also we are getting like cadaver dissection images so that you remember it better, right? So images help a lot. Okay, images in anatomy help a lot. In pharmacology, a lot of mnemonics help you to remember a lot of stuff in pharmacology, and daily revision, like I said, right? So you need to have the tricks to remember whatever you find difficult. Yes. How to apply tricks and questions that you would only learn when you practice a lot of questions, watch a lot of like TND videos. Now we have like TND type of videos in the PrepLadder app as well. So when you have an educator or faculty telling you this is how you approach a question, right, you learn it better. So you can watch those videos, you can practice more MCQs to learn that. Statement based questions are my weak. How to improve? Statement based questions, as in, do you mean the assertion and reason type questions? Or the one-liner fact-based questions? What do you mean by statement-based questions? I'm scoring 140 to 145 marks from last 3 tests. Otherwise, my score stuck. So that's really good, right? Previously, you were scoring 120. Now you are scoring 140 to 145. So slowly and gradually, it will improve. What you have to just do is analyze. What are the mistakes that you are making? Is it concept-based questions? Is it recall-based errors? Is it silly mistakes? Try to categorize your mistakes in every GT like that. So you know that which is my weak area, and accordingly, you work on that. Okay. So for improvement, you need to know first, where am I lacking? Then only you can work in that area. Okay, what can you do to improve your physiology graphs? Make specific custom module from the Q bank, which is physiology image based questions. And you can even watch, we have PrepLadder channel pe jaise video hai, Saman Manna sir teaches graphs absolutely like fantastic. So you can watch those image based questions wala video in physiology. You can use standard textbooks, specifically using guide 10 ke images dekh lo. And you have another textbook which is BRS Physiology that gives you a lot of graph based questions. So there are quite a few resources which can help you. Which images should be preferred, from standard books or from Google Images? Honestly, the examiners take up the images from the Google Images, right? Because they don't have copyright free wale jo images honge. So whichever, image based topic you are learning, just search in Google Images and have a look at the various images available so that you get a better visual memory, right? Medical life first year and second year, almost like 60% is what you have in INI-CET. Right? Assertion and reason questions, if you get wrong, all you have to do is try to connect the assertion and the reason wala statement jo usme hota hai. Right, first read the two statements independently. ये assertion का statement अलग से पढ़ा और ये reason का statement अलग से पढ़ा. First try to see, is this true, is this false, both are true, both are false. पहले तो आपको वो check करना है. फिर उसके बाद एक because डाल के दोनों को connect करके देखो if it is making sense. Right, so you know that the reason is also the correct explanation for assertion. You don't get a lot of assertion reason questions in the exam, so you can leave it, right? Do not fret a lot about it. It's okay. Okay, so those are Twilight of Apprentice. The questions that you have in INICET, multiple options, correct. A, B is correct, A, B, C is correct, A, C, D is correct. You know, those type of questions. See, in the options that are given, try to find out that which is the option which is definitely not the correct option. So suppose if you know that ki A to definitely nahi correct hai. Suppose the question is which of the following statements are correct, right? A, B, C, A, C, A, C, D, and you see that A to bilkul bhi correct nahi hai. So try to rule out the options. Like first ki ye wala to option correct ho hi nahi sakta kyunki isme A hai. So ruling out is what works the best in these type of questions which are multiple options correct. Okay, that is how you approach those questions. Okay. How to cover molecular biology? Best way is watch the videos, right? You can watch the main video of molecular biology in the app, right? And that will help you to solve those questions. Otherwise, if you have time, you think you can do it. Harper's textbook of biochemistry is what you can read for molecular biology. Okay. All right, guys. So that was about the today's session. I hope it has given you the smart strategy, the direction, and the momentum to prepare and crack the upcoming INI-CET exam. Remember, just being the better version of yourself every single day as compared to yesterday, right? And it is not as difficult as it seems. So all my best wishes are and blessings are with each one of you. I hope to see you all on the other side very, very soon, you know, having your interview, sharing your success story with everyone. Thank you so much and goodbye. Take care. Keep studying, keep revising, and keep winning. Thank you.